right? Don't get me wrong, we're gonna teach you how to close life and all that stuff. We need to know, I mean, you need to do it anyway. But he reminded me of me back in 1990, when Carly was born. The only thing I focused on was double-digit recruiting. That's all I focused on. 10 team recruits a month. That's all I focused on. So, and another thing he mentioned that I liked was focusing on one recruit. When you bring somebody on board, I asked him, so when you bring somebody on board, don't get me wrong, we want to get people registered at PFSU, and we should. But we need, like, I'm recruiting somebody right now. I helped Eddie recruit somebody right now, Eddie and Jessica. She works at the Dev Valley Middle School, cafeteria, whatever. I got 2 names from her. I said, and this is what I do. And y'all write this down and stuff like that. You already know it, but when you write it down, it sinks in. So Josie, since you're kind of new, you already passed your exam? Right. Have you taken it? Okay. Well, you know what? Let me give you an idea how to make sure you pass it. Okay. Number 1 is schedule your exam. Have you scheduled your exam? You know how to schedule it?
Yes,
you just go to pearsonview.com. Pearsonview.com. You need the number? I have the number.
No, I've got.
Let me give it to you again.
Okay.
And let me tell you why I'm going to
You're going to do it.
I want you to
You're
pass
going to do it now.
Okay. Just in case that you're off by one number and stuff.
Okay.
Pearson View. Okay. Our number is 888.
I try to do that with my security.
754.
You have a certain percentage of your test.
7667. So 754-7667. Let me give you, Violas, you taking off, buddy?
Good night.
All right, good night, son. And you were right. It was what's happening.
Yes.
Somebody said different strokes. Obviously, they didn't watch TV very well. It threw me off, Otis. You and I were in the same connection here. Rerun.
Yeah.
Anyway, wait a minute. You know what? It was different strokes.
What you talk about Willis is on different strokes.
Otis, we're wrong. We're
No,
wrong.
rerun is, no,
Google
rerun,
it.
yeah.
It's what's happening.
What's happening.
But what
That's
you talking about
before
Willis
us.
is
Different
from?
strokes.
Yeah.
I know that what you're talking about, Willis. I grew up listening here, and I've never seen it.
We lost together, man. We're a team. All right, so.
Otis had it right.
No,
I just didn't even tell him. He had it right.
no. It was different. It was different strokes.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Otis did.
I know you can hear
Otis,
me,
you're
Dad.
right. I was wrong. Anyway, I know, right? Okay. 2 things to make sure you pass the test, and this is for everybody else. Number 1, they got to go to the 2-day course. Have you got to the 2-day course? Okay, that's number 1. 2-day course. 2, schedule the exam with Pearson View for 5 to 7 days after the last day of the 2-day exam course. Okay, so for example, let's say the cram course was this Saturday and Sunday. It's not, it's the following week, but let's say it was this Saturday and Sunday. You would schedule the exam for the Friday or Saturday of next week. So not this Friday or Saturday, schedule the exam, but the week after. Make sense? Yeah. Why is that? Josie, if you came to next week, maybe not on Tuesday.
I already did. Yeah, I already passed them.
You will. I know you will. But let's say that next Tuesday, I'm gonna have you open up for me at the let's say that next Tuesday, I want you to open up for me for the up night. Do you think you could?
Yeah.
Really?
Boom.
Okay. No, the reason I'm asking is this. If I had told you that before tonight's meeting, you would have paid more attention to the meeting because you would have been watching Carlos. What does he say? How does he say it? Because you have a vested interest because you know next Tuesday you're opening up for me. So that's the difference. When you go to the 2-day cram course and you have your exam scheduled, it's a different focus. You go in there with a mentality, Daniel, that I need to pay attention because you're taking the exam in 5 to 7 days after that last day. Does that make sense? So number 1, okay, 2-day course. 2, have the exam scheduled. Even before you go to the 2-day class, have the exam scheduled for from 5 to 7 days after that. No later than 7 because you'll forget information. Number 3 is you gotta pass the practice exam on the simulator with a is it 75 or 80? I can't remember now. 75 or above. So, and now refresh my memory because all this stuff's kind of I'm an A personality. There's 3 different tests, right? There's the what's it called? What's the first one called?
Just test, the practice.
No.
You got the practice test and you got the focused one.
Okay,
also.
so practice exam. So write down practice exam.
Yeah.
Those are the only two I know of.
And the other one is go green, but it's
Yeah,
also
the go
Oh,
green.
guaranteed.
Well, you,
or focus.
so when I did it, it was the go green, and then after that, it kicked out the focus one, which was all the ones that I got wrong.
So this, oh, I see. It like breaks
Yeah,
up to
you
another
have
one.
you have to take the go green one first,
Okay.
Yeah.
and
Okay, so the get a 75 on the practice exam, 75 on the go green, and 75 on the focus.
okay.
And the focus is the questions that you had the hardest problems with. I'm assuming. I don't
Yep,
know.
yep.
Okay, so that is how you do it. Yes, ma'am.
The third one is actually a guarantee. Regional calls it the
So it's not
guarantee.
called go green.
No.
Did you know
They
that?
give you a go
Yeah.
green on the focus. That shoots you into the guarantee.
You sure on that, Dora?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm not doubting you. It's just I'm not
I
asking.
wrote
I'm
down
asking
the
because
instructions as they were giving them to.
Okay, y'all get. Let me. And by the way, we need to get this right.
Yeah,
Okay?
well,
I need to get it right. So
They
there's three
changed it in a
exams.
year.
There's the practice exam. Then you go to the go green or focus. I think they're called the same, go green or focus. And then after that is the guarantee. I'm gonna write this down so I can take a picture.
I'll send it to you. I wrote down the notes.
You promise?
Boom.
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
All right.
That's why
Is it
Dora's
legible?
I think so.
As long as it's legible, because I write all crazy. Okay, so
Okay.
I wonder if each state's different too.
it might be. It might totally be.
Because I know in
different.
Nevada you had to, because we had to take the class. It was mandatory. It's 24 hours, and there was a test at the end.
Oh, since ours is not mandatory.
I wonder
That's
that's
what
why
you
you
think.
got 3 tests. Because I mean, technically we
It
had
could be.
3 also. You know, you had the class test and you had the
Oh,
go
I see what you're
green,
saying. It could
and you
be.
had the focus.
So again, practice exam 75 or above, go green or focus, and then guarantee. But that's the three things you gotta do to pass your exam, okay? Now, I got off on this tangent because we wanna make sure people pass. You need codes, but what we really need is new recruits. So what I did there with Eddie and Jessica is I got her two. I just asked her, this is how I get the hot. We want to go see the best people they got. This is what I said. It's 2 in the morning, and y'all need to write this down or make notes. You don't have to be exact like me, but this is how I get the best list. Let me ask you a question, Josie. You just recruited Crisanta. You want her to put you in front of the best people she knows or the worst people she knows? What do you think? The best. You know, let me tell you why it's the best is best. The good, better, best. Never let her rest. So your good is better than your better is best. But anyway, because the people that know her really well are the people we want to go recruit. Art Williams said, this is a 9-step process. I'm not going to go through the 9. He says, you recruit somebody, and then you go recruit that person's best friend. That's the system he built, this credible company. Not with strangers, not with people at the mall. So, again, I want to see the hot market. Hot market is people that have credibility with their mom, their dad, their brothers, their sisters, their husband, their wives, their kids. So I asked her, it's 2 in the morning, you have a flat tire, who would you call at 2 in the morning to come get you? She said her mom is number 1 and her son, who's 19, is number 2. I asked her if there's any more, that's all she had as far as that situation. She's the rest won't come get me. So I told Eddie, yeah, right, you know how it is, right? Who is this? Come later. Call Uber, whatever, right? So I told Eddie, we need to go see her mom and her son like tomorrow. We need to have this sense of urgency. A lot of us are waiting too long to go do appointments with our new recruits, and then they quit. The reason they quit is they don't have a recruit. And Art Williams said this: a recruit is not a recruit till they have a recruit, right? And this is the point. This is a system, right? So her lady's name is that lady's name is Isabel. Her son's name, I can't remember her mom's name. It doesn't matter. So then we go recruit her son. Again, I don't remember his name right now. We go recruit her son's best friend, and then best friend. And if you just go down the line 9 or 10 deep, and you're wondering, my gosh, why don't we go wide? If you go deep, this Isabel's gonna pass her exam. You know why? She's got 8 or 9 people on her team. Are you kidding me? She has a sense of urgency. Her son's gonna pass it because she's got 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 people. You follow that system. Will come. It'll come. But it starts with a deep leg. That's what Gus was talking about. So let's start working on that. I don't want you to focus on, yes, we gotta get her to pass the test, but we gotta go recruit with somebody ASAP. In your mind, this is what you should be thinking, Daniel. I just recruited Leslie, for example. In my mind, I'm gonna pump her up, man. You're gonna be amazing. You're incredible, man. Da da da. But inside, like, man, she's gonna quit tomorrow. I'm gonna recruit somebody for her. I gotta recruit somebody for her. You have to have that sense of urgency. Does that make sense? And so the reason Jessica and Eddie are really good, I recruited both of them that same night. I recruited Eddie first. Have y'all, maybe I'm gonna repeat this again how I recruited his wife. So Eddie came on board. Let me tell you what happened. So I wasn't here the night that Eddie and Jessica came to the out night. I was in McAllen, or I don't know where I was at. The guy that recruited him is direct to me, Javier, and he had him at the out night. He called me that night and told me he had 2 guests. I said, how'd it go? Well, they kind of want to do it, but they have questions. Hey, no problem. I'll answer the questions. So I wasn't a Tuesday. I came back on a Wednesday, and I met him on Thursday at their home. And this is how I close people. So tell me, Eddie, you tell me you have questions. What questions do you have? Well, you get something. So I did my financial house, right? I did take but I did my financial house. And listen, I'm going to teach you this in a second, how to lead to the IBA. But I recruited him, and then I said, Jessica, and I didn't do this till after I got the IBA. And so all I tried to POL, open a shut case, right? Then I looked at Jessica, I said, Jessica, do you believe in this guy? So listen to what I'm saying, and write down little notes for yourself. I looked at the spouse, in this case it was Jessica, and I said, Jessica, do you believe in your husband? Do you believe in him? What do you think she's gonna say? Nah. Of course he said, of course I do. And by the way, it should be a loaded question. Would you agree?
Yep.
Even if they had an argument before you got there, she had to say yes. She doesn't embarrass him in front of me. Would you agree?
Right.
At least I only had that happen one time. They got divorced, so it's into that story. She was like the wicked witch, dude. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you know what she told me in front of the first time I met her? He's lazy. He'll never do anything. He just all talk. I've never had a wife or a husband say that about their spouse in front of me. Again, I've never met him before. But I was like, I left that house. You know why I left happy? Because I wasn't married to that lady. Lord. I thought life was tough. I could have been married to that chick. Forget that. I would just commit suicide. Take me home. Anyway, no, she was really rude and mean. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we all have issues, but when you disclose it in front of everybody, to me, that's just disrespectful. That's to me, right? So anyway, I just asked Jessica a question. Do you believe in your husband? She said yes. I said, listen, do you believe he, in this case he, right? Could have been the opposite, but in this case, do you believe Eddie will build a big business? Do you think he deserves to be, does he deserve success? And she said yes. It's all, if you follow my pattern, you'll know where it's leading up to. I'm leading to a point where she can only tell me yes on the IBA, okay? First thing I asked her, do you believe in him? In this case, right? 2, do you believe he'll build a big, and you two will build, that he'll build a big successful business? Yes. Well, let me ask you a question, Jessica. 20 years on the road, you guys are making all this money, very successful. You're going to look back in your career. Who would you rather be Eddie's first recruit? Some guy or gal who's no longer here, or you, his wife? And she said, me. So you're probably wondering what the next step is, aren't you? Yes. And I got her IBA that night. Okay? That's how I get recruits. You have a question, Jim?
Yeah, well, for like, so do you do both IBAs and do a life close at the same time?
In this case, I did, yes. It took a little longer. We were there 3 hours, okay?
Well, in my mind, I'm just like, that's a lot of money. Well,
it is, but I got 3 things. I got 2 IBAs and a life close. How many times have you been in appointments and you got nothing the whole night?
Right.
It's kind of, you heard this phrase before, a burning hand is better than 2 in the bush. If you're in an appointment, and I don't care, I had another one an hour later, and he joins the business, if I can get her IBA, I can get her life close, I'll call the other client, hey, I
got to reschedule.
I overbooked, because I overbooked, right? I got some people that really need my help. Can I move you please to this Thursday or Friday? People are, by the way, I don't see people say, I had one of my greenies tell me, gosh, I'd feel bad doing that for that, having to do that. And like, I asked this rep, have you ever been stood up by someone before? She was young. Guess what? Do you think they felt sorry for you? They did not. So quit acting like you should feel sorry for them. How many times have you been stood up?
Yeah.
Like all the time. I'm not saying they're mean people, but people are people. So how about you take control of your business and you stand them up, but it's for a good cause because you're with a client, right? So I did the IBA for him, IBA for her. That's about 20, 30 minutes on the POL, but a half hour before that to get them in the business as far as the mentality, and then spend an hour on the Life app. I did the life close. It was like $120 life app. It was a great night, man. If you had 3 appointments and you got to recruit at 6, recruit at 7:30, and the life close at 9:30, you think that's a good night, right? Well, now you get them all in one household. Is that not freaking awesome?
Yeah.
They're here. And by the way, they haven't built a big team. They got about, let's see, you got Michael, Felicia, it's a couple. They're in the business. They work at the school. They got a guy named Xavier, and then they got another guy named Calvin. None of them are really shown up yet. Michael and Felicia sent me a text last week, the week before. Mr. Gonzalez, well, actually, no, we're going through some stuff right now. Car broke down, financial problems, but don't cut us out. Believe in us. We're sticking to the business. They went to the school. My point is, the reason why Eddie and Jessica are coming to everything. They show up for training. They show up for the op night. They don't have a big team yet, but they've got the right idea. Does that make sense? So God's gonna bless them. I'm telling you. John, you have a question?
Yeah, no, I was saying like, because if that would have been, if you did that with me and my wife, there would have been no way we couldn't have afforded the IBA and the life close and.
But at least I'm gonna plant the seed.
Yeah.
Remember, you reap what you sow, but it's never in the same season. Do you have a question, Maurice?
I have a question.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, Jessica. You're making all this money, you look back in your career, what was the next part?
Okay.
Who do you want?
Okay, so follow my questioning. First question was, okay, write this down. After you get the IBA, let me tell you the dangerous thing about some people do. It blows my mind. Let me ask you this. Anybody ever bake a cake?
Yeah.
Leslie, you baked a cake before?
Yeah.
Just once?
Yeah.
Anybody, Rosa ever baked a cake? My gosh. Who has, you baked a cake? Okay, how many times have you baked a cake? 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe, I've never baked a cake, but they tell me you need to put eggs in it, correct?
Yeah.
So imagine this, Angelicia. You bake a cake. You put all the ingredients in the cake. Everything. But you don't follow the right order. Well, what do I mean? You make everything, put it in the oven, you take it out, and once it comes out, then you crack the eggs on top of the cake. Is it gonna taste like a cake, like a good cake? No. Now check this out. You did all the right ingredients in the wrong pattern, the wrong order. Make sense? Same thing with what I'm sharing with you. You gotta follow the pattern. I meet people. They're just, I don't understand people. They're just not, I don't understand. Maybe because I'm not very smart, I follow directions. I don't know. I'm not very creative, so it forces me to follow a pattern, an order. It blows my mind. So this is what they would do. They're there to recruit you, for example, Richard, and you say, "Yeah, I want to do it." Then I start with Jessica. Yeah, I have not done his IBA. There's a good chance I won't do anything that night because I'm all over the place. Follow the order. Number 1, I need to get his IBA in. Once the POL goes through, then I approach Jessica. In this case, does that make sense? So number 1 is get the IBA of whichever spouse. I don't care who, it doesn't matter. Pick one, let them figure it out. Then number 2 is, again, you're right through POL, okay? I'm getting all excited, but you understand. Number 2, then you start with this questioning. You ask the other spouse. Let me ask you a question. John, Mary, doesn't matter which one you go with. Do you believe in your partner? Well, yeah. A lot or a little? A lot. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going a little bit further. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being big time, I mean, over the top, believe in him, 5 in the middle, 1 not really. Where you at? I'm at 12, I'm at 30, Carl. Okay, great. By the way, I want those answers. They don't see it coming, but I'm leading up to it, right? Then I say, imagine this. Well, let me ask you this, John. Do you think your wife Melody will build a huge business?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. She's a good person, high character, high morals, high integrity. Would you agree?
Yeah.
How can she not win, right?
Right.
Y'all follow write this down. High integrity, right? High morals, high intensity, high discipline. I mean, you can add some more adjectives in there if you want, okay? But I say those things, right? I'm leading, right? I'm leading to a conclusion. And then I'm going to say, let me ask you a question. In this case, Jessica. Let me ask you a question, Jessica. Imagine you guys build a huge business in the next 20 years. Imagine, I use the word, remember I talked about, use the words imagine or picture this. Imagine you build a big, huge business in 20 years. And you look back in your 20-year career of success. Would you rather that what got this momentum started, his first recruit in this case, his first recruit was some guy or gal he met at the mall that eventually quit, or you, his partner in life? What's he gonna say? Well, me. Exactly. Look, Eddie's first promotion is this reader. You used to have 3 recruits. Why not you be the first? Okay, done. Do you guys follow me in my questioning?
Yes.
This is not hard science. We complicate this thing, right? Marcus, you have a question?
Oh, I was just saying, that when, Mike came to our house, that's what he did. He signed us both up and then, I got the coverage on my family and it was just that I feel like he did what was right and he didn't think about, I guess he wasn't thinking about the cost,
Correct,
about the value.
correct.
And I felt a whole lot better, that I had my family covered.
Absolutely.
As a man,
Well, this is the thing, Marcus. If your heart's in the right place, you do the right thing, and you let the client tell you don't have any money. But what I see in Primerica is, for whatever reason, we're the ones that bring up the objections before that client or recruits do, which blows my mind. Let me give you a hint. The people we're talking to do not need your help to invent you objections. They have their own. Yes or no. Quit helping them. You're going to kill them. In fact, I believe some people have not been in Primerica because the rep in Primerica got nervous because they thought they were being too pushy. And so they made up all these objections. Right now, John, you probably don't have the money for your wife, so let's just get yours. His wife could have been the rabbit in this whole thing, and you just excluded her. You think you're being nice and kind. In reality, you're the biggest detriment for that family. Let them tell you the no's. They're capable. They're adults. They can speak. Let them tell you, if it's too much, right? So that's okay. Our job is to lead them with questions. So again, get whoever you want to recruit, get their IBA first. After it's gone through, right? Then I'm going to ask the spouse, do you believe in so-and-so? Oh, yeah. Let's go from 1 to 10, 10 being a lot, 5 in the middle, 1 where you at? I'm at 25. Okay, great. So you believe that so-and-so is going to build a huge business in the next 20 years? Oh, absolutely. Well, imagine this. Imagine 20 years later, y'all are mega successful, build a huge business, living the life of your dreams, and you look back in your 20-year career, and when you look back, who would you rather be the first recruit your husband recruited? They got this whole thing going. Some stranger he met at the mall that eventually quit, or you, his partner, his love of his life, the mother of his, you know what I'm saying, right? Well, me, great. Let's get the process started. Fair enough? That's how you get to that IBA. Let's get the process started, Daniel. Fair enough? That's called tie down. It's closing. That's what I did with Jessica. I got her IBA. And listen to me, if you follow my pattern, it's going to happen for you. Chrysanta, let me ask you a quick question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how good do you think I am? More or less, just based on what you feel. What do you think?
Out of the world.
Okay, how about a 10? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Where would you be in that same scale with me? What do you think?
Oh,
What do you think?
I won't be that great.
Well, give me a number.
Oh, like if I was already in the business?
No, you're ready right now.
Okay.
I'm a 10. Where are you at right now?
Oh, probably about a 3.
Okay, let me ask you this. If I can show you to go from a 3 to a 10 in effectiveness, is that a good thing or bad thing? You know how you get from a 3 to a 10?
How?
Just follow my pattern.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like a GPS. If I've been to McAllen a gazillion times, which I have, and I can do it, I don't need a GPS, but if I use my GPS, and Dora, have you been to McAllen?
Yes.
Who's never been to McAllen? Angelicia, have you been to McAllen? The greatest town in the history of the world? Famous people have been born there?
I'm not from
You've never
Texas,
been.
so.
If you put the address to my home in McAllen, you'll get there just like I would, even though I know it and you don't. Because GPS is the greatest equalizer there is, right?
Right.
Yep.
What I'm giving you right now, this order of events will make you a 10. I promise you. The way I became successful is by following a strategy. A strategy wins. So how does it feel, Chrysanta, if you think about it, to go from a 3 to a 10 in one training? Is that amazing?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, practice, drill, rehearse this. Does that make sense? Seriously, practice, drill, rehearse. You're gonna surprise yourself. I'm telling you, Sandy, you're like, wow, coach was right. This thing does work. The worst part about this is when you're doing it and live with a client and you get, is you start laughing at yourself like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, this thing works. You don't want to do that in front of the people, okay? Do it in the car when you're like a block away.
Yeah, after
oh my
you
gosh,
drive.
Coach said this would work. Oh, I'm sorry, Jessica. What's your social number? Okay, right? Okay, now. So again, I'm gonna go back to that other one again. I did the IBA for him, IBA for her in this case. How do I do the life close? Very simple. Listen, Chrysanthemum and Chewy. We're in the life insurance business. You're gonna work on your license, so is Chewy. Let me ask you a question. What's the most important thing in your life?
My family.
Your family, right? How, and listen to the words, write it down. Again, the first question and closing. Again, number one, what's the most important thing in your life? Well, and the answer is my family. If they don't answer 2 or 3 seconds, you help them out, my family. Okay? Then my phraseology is, how soon would you want the security in knowing that if something happened to you, that your family would be taken care of? Again, how soon would you want the security in knowing that if something happened to you, that your family would be taken care of? How soon would you want the security in knowing that if something happened to you, that your family taken care of? Well, like yesterday. Great. You're probably wondering what the next step is, aren't you? Yeah. We need to see if we need to just ask you some questions, see if you qualify. Let me do that, and then I do the DIME, D-I-M-E, and I figure out 3 life options, and I close. Like I said, Eddie, if you heard Eddie a couple of weeks ago, he said we're there for like 3 hours. Primarily because I let my guy that recruited them do the presentation, and it wasn't me, it was him, and that's okay. I mean, he only done like 3 before that, so he was a little slow, you know. He's learning, and I have to be patient and not intervene because I want him to do it. Does that make sense? I mean, that's what he's gonna learn. I was just there as backup, making sure he followed the right pattern, Daniel. And I had to be, if it was me, I probably would have been done in an hour and a half. But I already know how to do this, I'm there to help him. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you all to practice, drill, rehearse with someone next to you this phraseology. Okay? I'm gonna give you all like 10 minutes. This is like everything. Think about this right here. It's closing life, so you're making money helping a client, and recruiting. Not 1 but 2 people, right? So go ahead, y'all practice it first.
For those of you watching, I'm gonna mute the video.
You just recruited him in this case, okay? Right. So he's already in the
So he's
business.
he already signed the IBA.
Now you already had his IBA, and now you're gonna close the spouse. So in this case, you close Leslie on the IBA. Now you're gonna recruit him for her. Make sense?
Great. I didn't write down. I had to add. So if you want to read this,
I'll try to see what happens. So yeah, you can go first. You know this a little bit more than me.
Well, thanks, Robin.
We could,
How much, just a little bit, or?
but we have something where
Yeah, I'll pause it. I'll come back after he's done with this. If anyone's still watching.
Leslie, you wanna rope in with Rosa? Why don't y'all come up here? And Rosa, she's the one doing all the talking.
I'll go for it.
I'm not putting pressure on you, Rosa.
Tons of pressure. Don't listen.
Dice Rosa, I shouldn't have come.
This is all we used to do.
Okay, so you just reviewed your husband. What's your husband's name, Rosa? Martin. Martin. Okay, no, that's it. So you just recruited Martin. Now she's a partner in this case. Okay.
Okay.
What would you tell me?
Don't
worry about it.
No notes, no gum.
So Rosalba, do you believe in Martin? Yes. Yeah. Do you believe Martin will build a? Sorry, let me start over. So Rosalba, do you believe in Martin? Yes. Do you believe Martin will build a big business? Yes. Well, let me ask you a question, Rosalba. Let's say 20 years down the road, you guys are making a lot of money and very successful. Who would you like your husband's first recruit to have been? A person who he recruited, that he met at Walmart, or you, his wife? Okay, great. So Martin's next promotion is basically a district leader. In order to achieve that, he'll need 3 recruits, and why not you be the first one?
Fair enough. Remember, tie it down. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
That settles that, doesn't it? Now, how do you lead her to the IBA?
Well, let me ask you another question, Rosalba. What would you say is the most important thing in your life?
Oh, actually, no, that's for the life insurance. Remember, we're talking about the IBA now, right?
Oh, okay.
So on the IBA, huh? Oh, somebody called me. So on the IBA, what I would do is you're probably wondering then what the next step is, aren't you? Yes, and then you leave to IBA, you process that IBA POL, then to do the close of life, then you go to that part.
So then after that, so Rosalba, what is the most important thing in your life? Your family, right? And how soon would you like the security and knowing that if something was to happen to you, your family would be taken care of? Okay, great. Now I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions to see if you're qualified. Sounds good?
Good job. Awesome. Good job. Give her a hand. All right. What's that?
Shaking.
Nah, you couldn't tell. I thought we had an earthquake going on. I didn't know what it was. That was you? I'm kidding. No, you did great. Let me get
Daniel.
Daniel. You want to give it a shot? Yeah, you and John.
Let's go.
You gotta do it.
All right, I'll do it. Let's go.
Eddie, y'all want to sit down? Yeah, come Oh, no worries. Actually, I don't think
Hey,
it's.
Carlos, can you say the part for the district leader part again?
Yeah.
I think this
She didn't catch
Oh,
that.
real simple.
Me neither.
You mean like the very end, you mean, right?
Yeah, so you know his first promotion is district leader. He needs to
His first promotion is district leader. He needs 3 recruits for that. Why not you be his first one?
And now is that right after we say, you know, his first recruit to be somebody else, or
Right, exactly. That's the last line before you get to the IDA. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. Okay.
Go for it.
Alright, John. Do you believe in your responsibility?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit or a lot?
A lot.
A lot. So that's, do you believe she'll build a big business or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask a question. Let's say 20 years down the road, imagine you guys build a big business, and you look back, would you rather be her first recruit? Or, I think I missed it.
That's
You're
okay.
good. I'm just laughing. It's all
Who
good.
would you rather be your wife's first your wife's first recruit?
Who would you rather be?
Your wife's.
You got it. You got it.
Let me ask a question. 20 years down the line, imagine you guys built a successful business. And you look back 20 years, and would you rather be the...
You got it, bro. You got it.
Would you rather someone else
Relax.
be
Yeah.
his first recruit, or would you rather be the first recruit?
Me.
You?
I'm there from the beginning, bro.
That's right.
You're probably wondering what the next step is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't get that district leader.
Okay.
When would he have thrown that in? He would have started in right after, you know, would you rather her recruit be somebody from Walmart or be you, right?
Right. In other words, imagine 20 years down the road, you all built a very successful business. And you're looking back, who would you rather have been your wife's first recruit? Some total stranger she met at Walmart, they came on board and quit? You see how vivid that's being?
Yeah.
In other words, like nobody, no offense. What I'm saying is somebody who's insignificant in her life right now after 20 years, or you, her best friend, her partner. Well, of course, it's a loaded question. Well, me.
Of course, me.
Great, that makes total sense. Let me explain to you why I'm sharing this with you. Your wife's first promotion is district leader. She needs 3 recruits. Why not you be the first one? Make sense? Makes sense. And then boom, get the IBA. You see that? Okay, do it like I did. or as best as you can. As best as you can. As best as you can.
I forgot about it. Damn it, I didn't
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay, you do it. You
I'll
do
give
it.
it a shot.
Do it the best. Do the best you can.
So Daniel, you excited for Leslie? You think she's gonna be big here?
Yeah.
So you believe in her a little bit or a whole lot?
A lot.
So she's gonna do good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this question. Imagine with me, picture with me, 20 years down the road, you guys are rolling in dough. She just built this massive business, making $1 million a year, right? Or a week, That's what Carlos wants right there.
That's right.
So making $1 million a year. Think about it. Do you want her first recruit to have been some stranger that she met at Walmart that's not even here anymore? Or do you want it to be you, that you stood by her right from the get-go?
I won't do that.
Yeah, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is because her first promotion is district leader and she needs 3 recruits. Now, wouldn't that be awesome if you were the first recruit to help her get to that next promotion?
Oh, yeah.
So you're probably wondering what the next step is then.
There you go. Good job. Great
Whoa,
job.
whoa. I gotta close this live cell, bro.
There you go. You're not going home yet. There you go.
Sorry, hey, babe, put the kids to bed over there.
That's right.
Okay, so you're excited about this business, right?
Yeah.
You and Leslie. So we're in the business of life insurance, right? And protecting people's lives. Now, let me ask you, what's the most important thing to you guys right now?
Our
Your family, right? Your little boy.
Yeah.
So if something happens, you want to make sure that he's set up, right?
Yes.
So you're probably wondering what the next step is.
Yeah.
And I just need to ask you a few questions, make sure you qualify, right?
Right. And so I would do the dime. What I'm gonna do
Okay,
right now.
yeah.
What I'm gonna do right now, Daniel, is I'm gonna ask you some questions to see how much coverage we need to put on you and your wife, and which one fits your budget that won't break the bank. Is that fair?
Yep.
Boom. And I do the dime, and I figure out 3.
Okay.
And the dime, when I do it, I do the one they actually need. The first one, that's in the middle. I always put what they need in the middle. One that's a little bit less coverage on the left, and one a little bit more coverage on the right. And I let them choose which one. Y'all know how to do dime?
Yeah.
In fact, let me show you how to do that. First of all, give them both a hand. That's awesome, man. Great job, Daniel. Great job, man. Dude, that was good. Listen to me. We already been through the script. The clients, when you're at their home, they have never heard me or you. So to them,
You
it's
can't
like,
mess it up.
Daniel's the triple bomb. Because they don't know.
Unless you're Greg. And
But
then-
even if you mess it up, even if you mess it up, they don't know you messed it up, so don't worry about it, okay? This is how you do dime. Okay? Let me just teach you that really quick. Real simple. This is how you figure out a ring. D-I-M-E. It's dime in English and dime in Spanish. Dime. I'm kidding. Okay, D. I'm just gonna go with this, debt. And this is non-mortgage debt, okay? So any debt, what's that?
I thought it was dead. Dead.
She thought it was
It
death.
can, okay, wow, okay. This guy, Ronell Burns, made up his own acronym.
Oh, okay.
When I started the business, we didn't have computers and internet and POL, so it was always debt that's non-mortgage, because over here the M stands for mortgage.
Right.
He changed it to death expenses.
Right.
It's cute and everything, I don't like it, because it's not enough. Imagine they have $100,000 in debt that's not mortgage, and the funeral's only like 50 or 20 grand. You see what I mean? So I would just use debt. Now, if they don't have any debt, and you might come out of 1 out of 100 that has no debt, they don't own anything. They live in an apartment, they have no debt at all. Period. Then I would do the death, like 50 to 20,000 funeral expenses. Okay, so I'm gonna put here alternate is death expenses, like funeral in other words. Okay. But other than that, I'm just gonna stick to the debt. I stands for income. Yearly income, and I multiply times 10. Mortgage, right? Balance, right? And E stands for education for the kids. I use 50,000 per child here. So let me explain. Let's say I'm talking to a guy named John and Mary. Okay. John has say 30 grand with his car loans and furniture, whatever, $30,000. Okay. he owes 150,000 on the mortgage. He makes 30 grand a year, times 10 is 300,000, right? And if he has 2 children, so multiply 50,000 times 2, that's 100,000. All you do is add it up. So 150 and 100 is 250, and 3, that's 550, 580. So in this case, John needs 580,000 of coverage. Then I do the wife. And again, yes, sir.
You do inheritance now though, right? Not really education?
No,
Education
I still
or-
do education.
Oh.
The inheritance though is the whole thing. This I would say.
Because sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, listening to the KT presentation, you said scratch that on education and you use inheritance. on
Which
the
I do. If something were to happen, and in other words, if something were to happen to you, Leslie, let me ask you the question, Leslie. Do wealthy people leave inheritance to their kids? They do, don't they, right? Y'all listen up. Listen to my verbiage. Leslie, when rich people pass away, they leave their kids inheritances. Would you agree?
Yes.
How much would you like to leave agents when they happen to you? $500,000, right? This only thing about this is that we could put $500,000, but it's going to make everything all mess up. You see what I mean? Because now we still got so instead the inheritance is the whole thing. So this is what I would say: if something were to happen to you and Jessica, Eddie, how big would you want to leave your son the inheritance? Big or small? Big. The bigger the better, right? Let me show you how we can come up with that. So this whole thing, instead of saying life insurance, you could say inheritance for the whole thing, or income replacement. It doesn't matter. Inheritance makes more sense, right? So that's all I do, and I add it all up. So let's say he needs 550. So A, B. So let's say it's a single mom or a single dad. A is what he needs. Well, I think it was 580. Correct?
Yep,
I
580.
do another one for like say 400, and over here I do one for 750 or 700. It doesn't matter. You're making it up, so it doesn't matter, right? And let them decide which one makes more sense.
Now I have a question just on like with coverage, because I know at our office in Vegas we had some rules or things, guidelines, if you will. We always tried to end in like 25,000, so like 500, and that we would just do 575 or
Do you know why you do
600.
that? I'm just wondering.
Just
It's
to make it
psychological.
easier or
Well,
psychological.
it's
I
kind
don't.
of like houses when you see houses being listed. Let's say that guy or gal wants to ask for 700,000, they'll make it 699. Psychologically, 699 sounds, even though it's only what, is it $1?
Yeah.
$1 less.
It's $1 less, and it's like a big deal, by the way. And also when they're doing searches on search engines.
Yep, it comes in on the other
if you
bracket.
put 700 and the family said I can afford up to 600,000 plus, the 700,000 won't show up.
Yep.
So you put 699, it'll be included with 700, 800, and 600. Kind of weird, right?
Yeah, well, so I wasn't sure if you do that or if you just go straight to the
I
number.
just goes, yeah.
I just-
Bottom line, you can. I think there's something wrong with the technique. I just do this because I've never had a concern with it, but I didn't know it was a concern. So in your case,
It was just something that Kevin did. You know, my
Oh, no, it's
RVP
okay.
did. It was
I
you
think
just
it's
round to
good.
the nearest
So in other words, you're saying
2,500.
instead of 700, you put 675.
No. You just round to the nearest 2,500.
Oh,
so 700 is an even number. That's good. But 580, he would do like
So
575.
this one here would be 575.
Or
that's
if it
good.
was like 590, he would just up it to 600.
Okay, that makes
That way,
sense.
it's just always on the
And
quarter.
and by the way, let me give you a tip that I learned from his guy today. The gentleman we're doing the Zoom with, who's out in South Carolina, he mentioned this scenario. I'm going to mention it to you. And actually, I think it actually makes sense. He just didn't do it.
Yeah,
delivered
he didn't deliver
so
right.
Because
Because I liked it, but I was like, it totally depends on the delivery.
This guy was being trained by a 7-year-old guy in and some other, in the insurance industry, some other guy, and he was basically saying he didn't like this guy's technique. Although I actually liked it, it's just the delivery is very important. It's
All
not what you
about
say, it's what you
delivery.
say.
Yeah.
So he was being trained by this guy, and he told, when they were doing the presentation, he asked the wife, Jessica, do you guys have a checkbook?
Do I get what?
Do you have a checkbook?
No.
Who has a checkbook here? People don't use checkbooks anymore?
No,
This
I
was a
haven't
long
touched
time
mine
ago.
in a long time.
I have a checkbook, but like when I pay Betty or the garden
Yeah.
or whatever, I don't use it for anything else. What?
the garden.
What is? Whatever. The long
Rich
guy.
They
people,
don't take
rich
cash,
people
though?
problems, bro. No.
Or you don't like to keep cash?
I keep cash, but I use it when I go on. When I go
I
on
hate to
trips.
keep cash because I just buy
Cash is king.
like
Cash is king, yeah.
candy and
Money
stuff.
talks,
like cash.
baby.
Yeah.
It gets bored.
I hate
Anyway.
change though.
I know, me too. Who has a checkbook? Okay, okay. Any married couple that has a checkbook?
I have
Okay.
one somewhere.
Okay.
My wife has.
Just go with that now. Just go with it.
Marcus, let me ask you a question. This is what he did during the presentation. He would say, Marcus, you have a checkbook? Do me a favor, if you don't mind. Again, this is the middle of the presentation. Go grab the checkbook. I want to show you something. Go grab your checkbook. So, let's say Marcus goes and grabs the checkbook, brings it over to the table. This is what he says. Marcus, look at the last, now listen up. Look at the last 5 checks you've written. And he has them look. H-E-B, Best Buy, whatever. Starbucks, whatever, I don't care. This is what he said. Can you, that was funny? Starbucks?
Starbucks, yeah.
People don't use checkbooks anymore? Anyway.
Not for
I know, I'm just making things up.
Come on, guys.
The gardener.
Skip through it.
No, we went to Starbucks earlier, and I could only imagine the dude's face if I handed him a check.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen.
that's
Dude,
what
I'm gonna start doing that.
I know, right?
I love it.
All right, we're all over the place. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Marcus, look at the last 5 checks you read. Tell me, is there any of those 5 checks, more important than your kids? Any of those 5 checks you wrote, are they more important than your kids?
No.
None of them are, right?
The
So
HEB
this-
one is kind of important because it's feeding the kids.
No, but more important than kids. You're thinking too deep there, man. No, but, I mean, everything relates to the kids, man.
Come back to the surface.
I'm gonna take a shower so my kids they can want to be around me, because if I don't smell good, they're gonna leave me. I'm gonna have an empty heart. So my point is, Marcus, tell me, those 5 checks you wrote, the last 5, any of those checks you made out, more important than your children? None, right? The reason I'm sharing this with you, Marcus, is because life insurance, right, is more important than anything else you've ever written. But the point is, he's explained to the people in an analogy type of thing, how this check for the life is more important than the cable bill. Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
Now, he said, and I don't think anyone's feelings.
Yeah, he just was
wasn't
like,
pushy.
he was like, I'm just gonna grab. I'll see myself out.
Yes.
Grabbed his stuff and left.
The guy said that. This is what I would have said if I was him. I would have said, listen, John, I know it's not, if I detected that the guy or gal got it wrong, got a bad impression of it, I would have said, that's how I'm gonna fix it. Leslie, I can tell by your look, you and Daniel, that you may not agree with my approach, but please forgive me for my delivery. What I wanna make sure that you understand is that I don't do Primera because I like it, I do it because I love it. I lost my dad when I was 4. If something happens to you or Daniel, I wanna make sure that Aiden has a fighting chance to win the money game. Does that make sense? So forgive me for my delivery. I'm still learning. I'm not perfect at all. What's important, I want you to focus on, is the validity of what I just shared with you. In other words, would you agree that any of those 5 checks are more important than they taking care of Aiden? That's what that does, isn't it? But do y'all follow me, John? That's how I would fix it up. But again, the guy's still learning. Don't get me wrong. I would have done the same thing. That's right.
But how did he deliver it wrong? That was
Because
I don't know if you said it with the same emotion.
no, he didn't
the
say it
same-
with the same conviction. Don't get me wrong. I mean, guys, I learned something at a training, and I do it at the client's house. It is
Yeah,
awkward.
you gotta read the clients.
You gotta be able to. Yeah, again, it's not what you say; it's how you say it. So if I had said, you know what, Eddie, look at your last 5 checks you written, man. Any of those more important than your wife, it would have sounded pushy or like a salesy, too salesy.
Right, okay.
You see what I mean? No sincerity. But the way I delivered it is, listen, level with me. And you know, any of those 5 checks you wrote, more important than taking care of your wife and child. None, right? You see my delivery? And he even said, when I said it, he said on Zoom, when I said it, I was kind of like laughing at it or joking at it. In other words, he didn't do it right.
Right.
And I told him, listen, I actually kind of like that approach. The delivery doesn't sound right, whatever, but if you practice it, it just makes sense. Okay? Kind of like this. I'll give you another one that in fact, I told him the one that I used, but how about this one? Eddie? Anybody can say I love you? Let's say I meet with Eddie and Jessica have no life insurance. But he loves her and she loves him. Huh? I know. Right. But this one I didn't use this one, but I could. Eddie, they tell me that anybody can say I love you, but when you buy life insurance, you're putting your money where your mouth is, right? So let's just do the right thing, okay? Now you can do that, but if you do it the wrong, again, the tonality isn't right, you're gonna get kicked out of the house. So drill, rehearse. I'll give you an example. I told you all, I bought my daughter a Jeep last week, right?
Yeah.
And the salesperson I barely even met, he didn't even take care of me. I went, the guy, I recruited this guy, he ended up quitting when I was ready to buy the Jeep. He told me to go see this other guy. The other guy, when I went to go see him, all he did shook my hand. He said, I gotta go. Here's this guy. He'll show you the Jeep. Da 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 da. That guy spent 2.5 hours with me. The next day I get a call from the guy I barely shook hands with, and I could tell he was salesy. I didn't like his approach, and I'm in this business. That's what he said. All right, Mr. Gonzalez. So how about we put a down payment so that nobody takes your Jeep? I could tell by he was saying it. He was cheesy. He was being I could smell it. You understand?
Sleazy.
Yes, very much.
Sleazy.
Sleazy. But I was okay with it because I want my daughter. It was for my daughter, and for her, I'll do anything for my kid, right? So I went ahead. I sucked in my pride and said, okay, that was the first mistake he made. But I went, okay. The second mistake he made is he called me 3 days later. That was on a Thursday. He called me on Monday. Mr. Gonzalez, you coming in today? He goes, I sure am. I told you I was, right? He says, well, Mr. Gonzalez, if I were you, can you give me a time? Because if you don't give me a time, three other people want that same Jeep, and they'll sell it to them. I could tell again by his delivery, he was being a scumbag. You understand? I could tell he was not genuine. I could tell he was just trying to push a sale. And I saw it, but I didn't care because it's my daughter. I could care less about this guy. It's about my daughter. What I couldn't handle was that on the conversation, I told him, I said, can you please have all the paperwork ready? Because when I go there to sign, I don't want to take too long. I got appointments with clients, and I've been to, and he said, oh no, we'll do that. We'll have everything ready. I said, sir, I know how y'all work, because I've bought many cars from you, from car dealerships, and sometimes take an hour, 2 or 3. I don't want to. And he interrupted me. He said, Mr. Gonzalez, if you're trying to, what was the word he used? Intimidate me, that you're not going to buy this car from me because of the paperwork. He said, this is not going to work with me. That's what he told me. And I said, excuse me, did I say that? He goes, what? I said, did I just say what you just told? Did I say it? He goes, no. Then why are you interrupting me? That was not even anything. What I was going to say is, I just want you to have the paperwork. I didn't say I was going to go somewhere else. Because you know what, man? I don't even want to talk to you anymore. And he hung up on me. So then I called his manager, and I bought it from somebody else. But my point is, nobody wants to be that salesy kind of guy or gal. We want to be professionals. We got to practice. That's why you're here tonight. You're practicing, drilling, and rehearsing. And I saw that guy when I was there. I thought that was a burp. I thought it was Daniel. It was you, right, Slurpee? Yeah. I thought Daniel was like, gosh, Daniel looks so professional. He's burping. Hey, he feels like, we're at home, baby. Then I saw, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not even going to look his way. Lo de esquina. You know what esquina means? I'm going to give him back up. You heard of esquina? Have you heard of esquina? Wow. You never heard of esquina? Esquina means back up, like, te hago la pala. You know la pala? Forget it. Anyway, la pala is the same as esquina. But anyway, have you heard of la pala? Yeah, I mean, who hasn't heard that? That's like English, proper Spanish. I know, it's actually like, yeah.
No, I was saying I've never heard that.
No, it's like a valley thing. But this is my point. I thought it was Daniel. I'm like, I'm not gonna look his way. Hopefully nobody heard. Then I realized when it was just Jessica Slurping the thing. Oh. Good, I'm glad Daniel's still high up there now. Then we'll never do it in public, right? But anyway, but y'all follow me. The reason we gotta be professionals is when you do it right, people become your clients. Y'all follow me. I'm gonna wrap up there, folks. Listen, we're gonna have training this Friday. I'm just moving everything to Friday night. If it's okay with you guys. That way Saturday mornings y'all could spend time with your kids. Because I want you to go meet parents of your kids' friends' parents and stuff like that. You all have activities. And you want to see if you're like, I'm single, I don't care. Sleep in, how about that? That's a good thing, right? So Friday night from 7:30 to 9:30 we'll train. We're going to practice, drill, rehearse, live closing, and recruiting. That's all we're going to do. Hopefully today, that little role-playing y'all did was worth the hour that you stay here for training. Because I promise you one day that you're going to be in an appointment, and look, before you're great, you're going to be good. Before you're going to be bad, before you're bad, you're going to try. Yeah. You're going to sound robotic in the beginning, and a year from now, after like you've done this about 50 times, the new recruits are going to think, man, Leslie, you're married to a stud. That guy is freaking like so smooth. You're like, should have heard him on October.
October 17th.
We were drilling for Skillet, and he could not remember anything. But thank you. I'm kidding. You would never said. But your new recruits are gonna look at you one day like, Daniel, you're like a pro, man. You're gonna be the Leaders Bulletin, and vice versa. Leslie, the same thing, and all you guys here. My point is, this is practice. One day, they're gonna say, that Josie's so smart. She signed up for Pearson VUE a year ago, passed her test. How would anybody even know how to do that? And then they're gonna look at Chris, man, that Josie's freaking the triple bomb, and Chris Hudson's gonna say, actually, God will give her the instructions because she didn't do it. But anyway, I'm joking. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say that's like if you I don't know if you guys know the story of Sue and Mark Younger, but like Rick Susi told them to quit. It was like you guys.
They were pathetic. You're right.
They couldn't close anything. They were scared to talk to people. Told them to quit.
He felt so bad for Rick. Rick felt so bad for Mark and Sue Younger. He basically said, y'all should quit, man. You guys are really good. Can you, now they make $1.8 million a year. Bobby Buizon, who makes the highest income earner, makes $3 million plus a year. He was making phone calls. He left his job as a coach, went with Art Williams full time. He was making a phone call, and he fainted making a phone call.
Sounds like me.
He fainted. Not stand him suffering through making phone. Can you imagine? And now it's a hot. So as bad as you think y'all are right now, you trust me, you're following footsteps. Don't you even worry about it, okay? All right, guys, help us with the chairs.
That's so funny.
Dora,